See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. Chapter 3 Manifestations of a Poor Self-Image. Segment 2 Your Self-Image. What is this chapter about? In Chapter 1, we met the thieves. In Chapter 2, we learned the causes of a poor self-image. Now, in Chapter 3, Ziglar shows us something very practical and eye-opening. How does a poor self-image actually show up in real life? This chapter is like a doctor showing you the symptoms of an illness before you can treat the problem. You must first be able to recognize it. Ziglar helps you see the many different ways a poor self-image reveals itself in your behavior, your world, your relationships, and your choices. You may read this chapter and think, that is me. That is exactly what Ziegler wants. Because awareness is the beginning of change. Manifestation 1. The need to put others down. One of the most common signs of a poor self-image is the habit of criticism and putting other people down. This seems surprising. At first, you might think that a person with a poor self-image would be quiet and shy, but Ziegler explains something very important. Some people make themselves feel bigger by making others feel smaller. When a person does not feel good about themselves, they look for ways to feel superior. So they criticize, they gossip, they point out others, people's mistakes and weakness. They laugh at others, they find fault everywhere. This is not cruelty, it is pain. A person who constantly puts others down is really saying, I feel so small inside. This is the only way I know how to feel tall. Ziglar says, if you notice this habit in yourself, the constant need to criticize, compare, or tear others down, it is a clear sign that your self-image needs healing. Manifestation 2. Sensitivity to criticism. On the other side, many people with a poor self-image are extremely sensitive. When others criticize them, a small comment feels like a huge attack. A gentle suggestion feels like a personal insult. Even a joke can feel deeply hurtful. Why? Because inside they already believe the negative things being said. Their criticism confirms their worst fears about themselves. It hits a wound that is already there. Ziglar says, healthy people can hear criticism and think, is this true? Can I learn from this? But a person with a poor self-image hears criticism and thinks, see, I knew I was worthless. This sensitivity also makes people defensive. They argue, they make excuses, they become angry, not because their criticism was wrong, but because accepting it feels unbearable when you already think so little of yours. Manifestation 3. Indentation and procrastination. Another very common manifestation is difficulty making decisions. People with a poor self-image are afraid to choose. Why? Because choosing means taking responsibility, and if the choices goes wrong, it becomes more evidence than they are failures. So they wait, they delay, they ask everyone around them what to do. They change their mind again and again. They start things and never finish them. Ziglar calls this procrastination, and he says it is almost always rooted in fear, not laziness. The person is not lazy, they are terrified of being wrong. This connection connects directly to self-image. A person who believes in themselves can make a decision, accept that they might be wrong sometimes, and move forward anyway. A person with a poor self-image cannot afford to be wrong, because being wrong feels like proof that they are worthless. Manifestation 4. Difficulty, exception, compliments. Here is something that surprised many people. Person with a poor self-image often cannot accept a compliment. Someone says, you did a wonderful job today. And the person with poor image responds, oh, it was nothing really. Anyone could have done it. I just got lucky. You're just being kind. They push the compliment away. They minimize it. They do not believe it. Why? Because the compliment does not match the picture on the mirror inside their heart. When someone says something good about you, but you believe something bad about yourself, the good words feel uncomfortable and untrue. Ziglar says, learning to simply say thank you to a compliment is actually a small but powerful step toward being healing your self-image. Manifestation 5. Conformity and people pleasing. People pleasing. Many people with a poor self-image become people pleasers. They agree with everyone. They never share their real opinion. They change their behavior depending on who they are with. They are desperate to be liked because deep inside they fear that if people really knew them, they would not be liked at all. And Ziglar explained that at this leads to a very exhausting life. You're always performing, always adjusting, always trying to be what you think others want you to be. You lose track of who you actually are. This also makes you vulnerable to negative peer pressure. If you have no strong sense of your own worth and identity, others can easily push you in wrong direction. You go along with things you know are wrong simply because you're too afraid to say no and risk losing approval. Manifestation 6. Fear of trying new things. Poor self-image creates a very small comfort zone. People stay in jobs they hate because trying something new feels too risky. They stay in unhealthy situations because change feels impossible. They never learn a new skill, visit a new place, or meet new people because their self-image says you will only impress yourself. Ziglar says the saddest part of this manifestation is that is what it costs a person over a lifetime. All the experience never had, all the growth never achieved, all the joy never felt, because the broken mirror said, "You are not capable, stay small, stay safe." Manifestation 7. Boasting and showing off. This one surprises people even more than others. Ziegler says that boasting, talking constantly about yourself, your achievements, your positions, is also a sign of poor self-image. It seems like the opportunity were confident, but Ziegler says true confidence is quite a person who genuinely believes in their own worth, does not need to convince others of it. Boasting is really a loud cry for validation. The person is saying, "Please notice me. Please think I am important because I am not sure I am." The common theory. Ziegler points out that all these very different behaviors have one thing in common. They all come from a person who does not truly believe in their own value and worth, whether they are too loud or too quiet, whether they push people away or cling to them, whether they attack or attract. The root is the same, a broken mirror, a poor self-image.